Hello, I'm Greubel Forsey, co-founder with Mr. Robert Greubel of Greubel Forsey, two watchmakers who started working together now almost 20 years ago, 1999, to have a vision to bring back and revive the finest of traditional watchmaking, but with a very contemporary twist, innovation, and a level of excellence in terms of design, architecture, and finishing. Well, it's an unusual story because Mr. Greubel and myself had been working as watchmakers for already quite a few years, and then 1999, it was the eve of a new millennium, so there's a lot of thinking, what's going to be happening in the new millennium. At this time, now with the hindsight, it looks a bit cliche, but at the time, everything is in front. So, and we quickly said to ourselves, well, surely there is some new innovation we could do in watchmaking, and surely the history of watchmaking is not complete and a closed book. So we had this ideas to study some technical aspect. And by looking at a completely new way at the mechanism of the tourbillon, for example, which we started Greubel Forsey with, as we know, we realized there was so much to develop there. We were fortunate to have good ideas, and we were able to develop our first mechanism. So the first invention, double tourbillon 30 degrees, which was very, very much a landmark invention, a new generation of tourbillon. And with this invention as a prototype, we realized the only way we were really going to be able to judge and to be able to understand completely this new mechanism would be to build it in a number of examples. And so the idea came to create our own watch without the objective to be a brand in the traditional sense. What does that mean? So it means that our focus was to be excellence of hand finishing, hand craftsmanship, but to try and get back to a level of the very best of historic watchmaking. So 19th century, if you like, early 20th century watchmaking, before it became much more industrial. But to bring that together with an original approach of the design, or what we call the architecture of the watch, the timepiece, and to then have reliability with that, of course, so you would be able to use it day to day and not have technical issues with that, and to explore the different complications. So this was really suddenly, the idea became a vision, becomes a mission, and you move on. The very beginning was tough, of course, because we did not have we were not fortunate enough to have a big resource, a big capital, so we had to really think each time we spend each dollar, try and make it work twice, So it was a tough time. To finance the beginnings, we started with a research and development company called Time. Not very well known wider in the wide world, but we worked over the years for the major groups in watchmaking as an outside source of know-how, sometimes some ideas we had which we were able to develop for the watch company. Yeah, so very exciting to be back in Mexico City, SIAR 2018. One of our key location for the Americas, certainly Latin America, and then focusing on Mexico. It's a wonderful opportunity to share our latest development, our latest creation, public, but also collectors, of course, and the media from the region. So instead of everybody having to come only to Switzerland, we make the journey and we try to make the event interesting here. So we're very fortunate to be able to have two new calibers for 2018 here today. Perhaps the first one we can look at, this is a technical piece in terms of the focus here. So differential d'égalité, we call this. And the idea behind the differential d'égalité is to take our unique approach of Greubel Forsey with an inclined escapement to try and harness the effects of gravitational pull on the movement, and then combine that with a very, very novel approach to what would be traditionally called a remontoire. So in that you have the mechanical movement with the main spring driving energy, but that energy drops off over time during the running of the watch. What we have done is we brought another secondary spring much closer to the escapement, and then it is rewound every second here. So this gives us a very, very interesting and very, very smooth, constant performance of the movement. And then we can show this rather interesting, engaging, large seconds, deadbeat second display, which is a spin-off of the mechanism. Combined it with a seconds reset and a hacking feature, stop balance. It makes a really, really nice technical piece. And then with Robert and our creation team, so we've been able to bring together there the three-dimensional architecture, which we like to also showcase the whole movement. So you can see also on the back of the movement a nice display here. We've got a circular barrel bridge, train bridge if you like, relief engraved in gold with our mission, our philosophy of Greubel Forsey. And then in the center you see an opening with all of the levers and mechanism of the second reset system. So this is to launch this caliber, differential d'égalité, be an edition of 33 pieces in white gold, which we'll make, but which will take us perhaps 3 or maybe 4 years to complete, because we can only make a very small number each year. Greubel Forsey, even today, we are still around 100 timepieces in total across our whole collection. So it remains very, very exclusive, but exclusive from the handcraftsmanship and the workmanship which goes into the piece, more than an imposed exclusive. The inspiration actually came from 2004 onwards, when we launched Greubel Forsey. Very quickly we started to travel to meet collectors around the world, and we were suddenly confronted face-on with time zone changes in different region, and have we gone forwards or backwards in time as we move around the globe. And that gave us really that inspiration to say, well, is there a way we can get an analog display in a more symbolic in terms of iconography? In a similar way to an analog watch dial, we don't really read the time now. We just look and we say, well, it's 10 past 12, because the brain can just compute the symbolic and icons of the hands. Whereas if we take our smartphone, we need to read the digits, unless we have a sort of simulated analog display. But taking that idea to the globe means that with the fixed display, and knowing that midday is on the outside and midnight to the center of the timepiece, that we can see instantly that now in the Americas we're around lunchtime, in Europe it's the evening, and in Asia it's the middle of the night. So you don't really have to read it, you can just glance. And then if you need to know more, of course, then you can turn it over, and then by looking on the back, you can really see your 24 major cities, 24 time zones, and pick that out. So, it's kind of comes from this complete creativity, an original creativity. It's one reason why Mr. Greubel doesn't travel so much, because he's working on that design creation side, and you need to be quite sort of in a very tranquil, quiet, relaxed environment. Whereas for me as an English speaker, I can travel and can talk about different projects, different ideas, and yet I'm looking after more the technical side, so I can keep in touch with our team as I do that. I think one of the pieces which is really significant for us is our perpetual calendar, because it was more than 10 years that we built tourbillon and different timepieces, but we never made a Greubel Forsey with a date, even a date feature. So for Robert and myself, this was it's something which goes back right to early in our careers, because myself as in London as a young watchmaker, I had to set up for customers their perpetual calendar, traditional ones which you need a pusher for on the correctors, and it takes time. You have to concentrate to get the right programming each month and day and so on. And so for me, even going back to there was something which was significant for me. And I'd said to myself, and then with Robert, we realized we had the same vision. We said, one day we must be able to make a mechanical perpetual calendar with just as easy a correction as any normal watch. So to have everything corrected from the winding crown just in a simple manner. And so our QP equation was really, finally we managed to overcome the many different problems and challenges to be able to code together the day of the week, the date, the month and the year, to have a complete calendar. And just with a simple quick correction from the winding crown makes it a super piece. It's really, really great for the collector. So I think it's a piece which, for us it was a struggle. It took 8 years to finally overcome all of the challenges, and once or twice we really had to find a solution to a particular technical problem. And completion of that project, for us it was great. Collectors were really excited to discover it, and for our team to finally be able to complete a project is always a great moment. So perhaps that can be a good story. So from the SIAR 2018 and Greubel Forsey, very, very delighted to have the visit from Klokker's team here, and all the best to the whole readership and all of the watch collectors who are going to watch this stream. Thank you, and enjoy your passion. All the best.